Pacer, we are going, man. How are you?
Good, man. It's good to be back.
You feel comfortable yet here?
I think I'm starting to,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, like, if you ever need a job here, you can just come work here. You're here all the time. I love it.
Yeah, a couple of my buddies were texting me this morning. Man, you're going back on the high button again?
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it helps. I think I'm 2 minutes away.
Yeah, you're
So,
close.
yeah.
Have you been playing out behind your house in the court?
Oh, yeah.
How often are you out there?
I'm pretty busy right now. I'm coaching most nights of the week, or playing. But
You're coaching and playing?
Yeah. I'm coaching a U14 team right now. So we're practicing, playing a couple nights a week, and then playing in the senior league.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Like, I remember growing up playing lacrosse here. There was really no one to look up to in terms of a lacrosse player. Like, yeah, you had Mr. Fink, and you're like, oh, yeah, he played pro. But, like, relevant, like, to the actual time, you being in the NLL, it must be cool for the kids to have you around and a little bit of a role model. That must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of being a lacrosse player, especially coming from a smaller center like Halifax here, where we don't have a lot of pro guys. We just got the Thunderbirds, but
yeah,
I think part of being a lacrosse player is coming back and growing the game, and that's something I'm really passionate about. So, to have a chance to work with a local, Southwest team, the organization I grew up with, and U14, that's like Bantam age.
How old's that? So U14,
Yeah,
the age
they're
of
all
14.
like 13.
Yeah.
So it's an awesome age group. The guys they're a lot of fun to be around, and they just soak everything in. So
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I love it. That's the age right there where you start to fall in love with the game. I think that U14 age. So that would be like Pee Wee for us. That's what they would have called it back then.
Bantam.
That's Bantam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the age right there.
Yeah.
That's the age where your brain's just soaking everything in when it comes to the sport of lacrosse. And the physicality of it comes up too, I think, at that age. And that's almost where you're almost able to take advantage of the guys that aren't as physical, and you can maybe step up and get comfortable with the physicality. That's what I found, at least at that age.
Yeah. So it's me and Luke Smelter's helping coach that team.
Oh, Luke,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he played Division III at RIT, really good school. So, he's one of the guys around here with a lot of lacrosse knowledge. So, I think it's been a good experience for our kids.
That's sick, man. That's awesome. Before we even get going with this podcast, we got to talk about Andre DeGrasse that just got the gold medal. Shout out to Andre. That's incredible.
Go.
Did you watch it? It happened this morning.
I just saw the highlights, yeah.
It happened at like 9:45 this morning, short race. Did he set a world record or anything, Mark? Do you know?
National best.
National best.
200 meters,
Canadian
that's
record,
awesome.
Yeah.
Canadian record. That's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I saw it was the first Canadian gold since 1928 in the 200.
Wow.
Which is nuts.
Wow. There was a cool video of him actually losing 4 years ago to Usain Bolt, and then he looked to his left and he was there. And this year they had the same picture and he looked to his left and he wasn't there because I guess, Usain Bolt isn't there anymore.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh, that was that must be a cool photo or like a cool memory to have, just looking back at that forever. That's sick, and that's awesome for Canada, man. That's unreal.
I was hoping he was going to get the 100 meter too.
When he got second in that?
I think he finished third.
Third?
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
He
man.
was the favorite though.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I always think about that when it comes to the Olympics, how like we play sports that happen. Like, you play every weekend. You have a chance to redeem yourself every weekend. It's like these guys have once every 4 years. I guess they have like the world championships and things like that, but I feel like a lot of these athletes, just the Olympics or nothing.
Yeah.
And to like have that one opportunity.
And it's like, I was thinking about that too, watching, it's one race. Like if you don't go out there that day and have your best day, it's done. So yeah, the pressure on those guys is unreal.
I was watching long jump and there was a guy from Brazil and he hurt his knee. And he was limping down the runway as he was getting to jump, and the announcers were talking like, he should probably sit out. But then there was other announcers going, he might never have another shot at this again. So it's like if you're going to injure your knee, you're going to do it now in the Olympics because these guys, that's all they live for. Yeah. And it was kind of a weird, it was just weird taking that all in as the broadcasters were going, no, he should risk injury to try to get a gold medal. Yeah. Like it doesn't seem right, but I guess in these guys' mind, it's the Olympics or nothing. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, it's impressive, man. You see a lot of the sports too. Like I was watching there today, and they were doing cycling. You kind of forget like that's even a sport.
Yeah.
A lot of the Olympic sports, you don't see them every day, so that's the cool part too.
That's what I like about the Olympics. It's the track stuff. It's like shot put. It's javelin. It's the ones where they have to jump over the Mark, where they have to jump over and they run. High jump, not high jump. High jump's a good one too. But there's another one where they have to run for like 1,000 meters, but they have to jump over the hurdles. That one's
Oh
sick. Like
yeah.
the sports that you don't see on TV every day. Like
Yeah.
volleyball, even volleyball's cool. But just like sports that you don't see every day on TV, I think that's the most exciting part of the Olympics for me. Just seeing stuff you don't see every day.
Yeah, and it's the best in the world. So
Yeah. Listen, lacrosse is next.
it just got like recognized as an Olympic sport, so it's like on the path. It's not like for sure in the Olympics yet, but it's in the process, I guess.
Where are the Olympics in 2024?
I don't know. I think
Paris?
Paris. Yeah, I don't think it would be in for that one. I think it would be the one after that, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure exactly, but they changed a bunch of rules. So they have like specific Olympic rules, and it's basically like a different game, which is interesting. Like it's field lacrosse, but it's 6-on-6. So it's like, I don't know if you ever played that like turkey shoot style where you go like half field
No.
lacrosse.
It's like a no.
So it'd be 6-on-6, no long poles. So it's kind of like a box style, but on a field. And
Eh,
it's like there's one face off to start the game, and then after you score, you just like grab it out of your net and start it. Like it's basically like backyard lax.
really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess they're trying to make it. I think their reasoning was because they want to make it like just basically easier for the other countries that are sort of
Oh yeah.
developing. Like they don't just want to play box lacrosse because Canada will just dominate it, and they don't want to play field because U.S. I guess.
European teams.
I guess that's the reason. I don't know. It's kind of weird,
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird, It's like you want to get lacrosse in the Olympics, but it has to be a different version of the sport to be in it. But I mean,
But I don't see how that would help at all. Like the Canadian teams would still dominate, and the American
I
teams
think
would.
so too.
It doesn't matter what form of
I
sport.
think they're going to be like shorter games, and it's going to be a lot of goals. I don't know if that's what they're going for too, but
Oh yeah.
it's interesting.
I remember when we were at the tournament out in Czech Republic there in Prague. Did you ever play in that tournament?
No, I never did.
Oh man, you go.
I
If
know.
if you ever have the opportunity to go, it's not even like, don't get me wrong, the lacrosse is awesome,
Yeah.
but it's the community that really makes it. Like the food, the culture, the fans that come out in this little small community in the hills of Prague. It's unbelievable. And I remember I was playing in an all-star game up there, and it was North America versus Europe, and it got to the point where it was a little. It's like, if you're on a breakaway,
Pull it out.
pull out and just
Yeah.
kind of start the house again like that. And it really opened my eyes to, okay, the other parts of the world that are trying to play lacrosse but maybe aren't developed enough. I always thought growing up that, okay, no, there's guys that play in Europe that are unbelievable at lacrosse. They're just as skilled as us. It was a really eye-opening tournament to see how the rest of the world takes lacrosse and how some of these guys from other countries were asking questions, because there was a couple guys in the NLL that were at this tournament. I can't give
Yeah.
you names.
Yeah.
But people from other countries were going up to these guys and asking questions, and it was kind of cool to see how other parts of the world are starting to, I guess, learn and grow and get involved in the game.
Yeah,
So
for
it'll
sure.
be sick. Maybe that's part of the issue why it won't be in the next Olympics. Maybe they're waiting for 8 more years.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, there's so many rules with the Olympics. It has to be like a certain amount of countries that play it, and they have to have a certain amount of like male and female programs. So there's a ton of like logistic things
Yeah.
like that determine if you can be an Olympic sport or not. So
Yeah.
but hopefully that'd be pretty cool.
How pumped are you right now that the NLL announced the season starting
Oh.
when? What was the date? December something?
December 3rd is our first game
Against who?
in Georgia.
How pumped are you?
I'm pumped.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like the third time that it's been announced.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, fingers crossed. You never know what can happen these days. But
yeah.
I'm hoping that this time, I just got an email this morning about our training camp sort of schedule and stuff. So that'll get going
Nice.
end of October. So, we'll be there soon, hopefully.
So what are you, other than lacrosse, like I know you were in school, are you going to be in school in October this year?
Yeah,
So
so
you-
I'm still doing my master's.
Yeah.
I know the last time we were on here, I talked about, I was like on the falls. Remember that? I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
looking at falls and stuff. So I actually switched my topic.
Okay.
So I worked like a year and a half on that falls stuff. Basically just threw it out.
Alex.
But no, it's a pretty cool opportunity that I'm doing now. So I kind of jumped onto another project, and they're looking at telemedicine. So it's like essentially what it is there's at McMaster they have the children hospital, And then in Niagara, they don't have like pediatric specialists. So if a kid came in that needed to be resuscitated at the Niagara hospital, they'll video call in
Mm.
from McMaster and basically tell the doctors how to like stabilize the kid or basically what to do in that situation. So that's like the primary study, and then I'm looking at the costs of all that. So it's health economics.
Cool.
So we'd be looking at the cost of like to implement the program, everything, but then also the costs of like um, the people, the parents. We're gonna interview the parents and be like, okay, did you have to miss work? How much would you have made there? Did you have to pay for parking? Did you have to do this? Like everything. So we'll look at all the costs. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of a different look than what I've had. I was more, medical science, looking at like the biology and stuff like that, where this is like a little more economic. So it's cool because whether you like it or not, everything comes down to the dollar at the end of the day. So
Wow. So you're looking to reduce the cost of families to travel from hospital to hospital, to have another doctor call into another hospital and give direction to a doctor to perform surgery. Is that what?
yeah, because basically what it would be like if you didn't have this telemedicine is these kids would just automatically get transferred to McMaster. Like they would come in and they would have no way to deal with them in Niagara, so they would just transfer them, which, obviously that has a lot of cost. That's like a 40-minute drive, and then
Yeah.
it's another bed at McMaster. So what ours will do, hopefully, is reduce costs, but also have clinical outcomes that are good. Obviously, if you can reduce the number of transfers or deaths or whatever, that's good.
100%.
But at what cost, right? So we need to determine if it's cost efficient as well as clinically efficient for
Wow.
them to say, okay, this is a good program. We should put this in 5 more hospitals, right?
Mm.
So yeah, it's cool.
What does a call look like from a doctor? Like, I'm just, all I can really picture is Zoom. Is there like another
Yeah, it would
step up
be-
from Zoom?
It would be video conferencing.
So like so let's say they're in the room and they're like performing. What did you say? What would they be performing?
It's resuscitation.
So resuscitation. There would just be like a TV in the room, and that's where the doctor would be, and then they'd be
Yeah.
explaining what to do to
Pretty
the.
much.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy the world we're living in, and how I feel like what you're talking about right now is just the tip of the iceberg. How there's so much more to be discovered in the health community.
Yeah, telemedicine's like just been booming the last decade. So, and you got to think that would save them money, right?
Yeah, well, you're
Like-
saving travel costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're maximizing the number of specialists you have, right? You don't have a pediatric specialist there, but you can just call them up and they tell you what to do. There you go. So,
I had a neighbor back in the day who worked at a, I'm not going to say the company, but it was in like the fishing community, and she would have to go to China once a month just for a meeting for like a day.
yeah.
And I think I talked to her, I don't know, a couple months ago, and since all this, obviously that's over. But she's still having the meetings. She's still, technically in the room with the people that she would have talked to if she went all the way to China. She just does it in the comfort of her own home now. It's interesting how people just start to realize, okay, we don't need to spend this money on a flight to China and back. What are we doing?
There's definitely advantages. I remember when I was doing my master's the first time, we were going to like apply to a bunch of different conferences.
Yeah.
Because once you finish your research, that's sort of how you get like basically lines on your resume. We presented at this conference. So my professor was like, this whole COVID thing's kind of helping us there because we can apply to a conference in England,
Mm.
and we just zoom in, or we can apply to one in, Australia. So like it did give some advantages that you wouldn't have normally.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, well, that's awesome. It seems like you're, I know like you spent a year and a half on something else and you had to throw it out, but whatever.
Yeah.
You found something else that you're passionate about. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind, the masters. I sort of just went into it. I didn't really talk to other people and say, "Oh, did you do a thesis?" It's a lot of work, the thesis it's I'm every day, reading, research and writing and yeah, it's a lot on your own. So the last year with doing my master's and it being online, it's like, I've done a year of school and I haven't met a single person in my class,
Yeah,
it's like you're isolated, which makes it difficult, but yeah, hopefully when I'm done, it'll be worth it.
Writing a thesis is the main concept of a thesis is to form a new subject or a new, I don't want to say invention, but a new thought process. Because what did you say it was, telemedicine?
Yeah.
So this, you're saying this is a known thing, but you want to almost create another wing to telemedicine.
Yeah,
And
it's like pretty much with a thesis in any research, you want to sort of dive into an area where there may be a gap. So you look at,
so that's why it's difficult, because there's no, you're saying you're doing research, but how can you do research if there's nothing really to base it off of?
well, there's lots of other like telemedicine studies, but they may not be like specific to what we were looking at.
Okay.
So basically, you're like, I'm looking for a study that says, oh, we don't know if this is cost effective. You know, we did our study and we're not sure if it's cost effective. Or we're looking at one that says, oh yeah, we did this study with 100 people and it was super cost effective. And then this study says, oh, we did one with 1,000 people and it wasn't at all. So you say, okay, there's sort of a dispute here. That means that we need to take more of a look at it.
Okay, I gotcha.
So you're not necessarily creating something new because, you know, there's studies being pumped out all over the world all day,
yeah.
you know, every day.
Yeah.
So it's more just like sort of finding that gap. And, you know, obviously ours is, you know, you could do a study in India or the Netherlands. And is that going to relate to Canada?
I don't know.
It's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
So this one's like specific to the Niagara region and stuff. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Mark, can you pass me a tissue over there, bud? Just pass the box. Thanks.
You good?
Yeah, there's dust down here. No, man, that's sick. Where do you
Yeah.
do a lot of your research at home? Do you go to the library?
Yeah, no, I'm just at home. Yeah, I got it. My parents have an office in the house, so I'm set
Nice.
up there. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So where do you squeeze the time into to start a lacrosse camp?
You know,
Northern Torch. I like the name of that.
yeah. So we started that probably Christmas time or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess when you could probably relate, but I guess when you're doing work that you're super passionate about, it doesn't necessarily feel like work, and I would say that's how I feel about Northern Torch Lacrosse, since our goal is sort of to, you know, pass our knowledge on and grow the game. That's something that I've wanted to do my whole life, and now that I've reached the level I'm at, kind of gives me that ability. So yeah, I started it with Jake McNabb. He plays for the Colorado Mammoth.
Sick.
Yeah, he's an offensive guy, really good player. You know, one of the best shooters I've ever seen. You know, the guy can just shoot the lights out. So, great to have him there and sort of be able to pass on that offensive knowledge that I may not have as a D guy, and you know, I sort of bring the defensive side. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun so far. We did one camp in Owen Sound, and then we're gearing up. We're 2 weeks away from our camp in Halifax.
No way. Where are you gonna do it at?
Down at the Spryfield Arena.
Nice. Right
Yeah.
next door. I love
Yeah,
it. That's where that's a great place to have a camp.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you
it
got the
is.
big parking lot, and then out back too. There's like a bingo hall with another floor. Like there's just tons of room
Exactly.
to do stuff.
Yeah, no, it's cool being in there again, man. You know, that's pretty much where I pretty much grew up at that rink. You know, played a lot of hockey and lacrosse there. So it's just, yeah, it's good to be able to give back to the community around here. And, you know, growing up, we didn't have, like, you know, growing up myself as a lacrosse player around here, we didn't really have that opportunity. And,
Yeah.
you know, there weren't really camps anyway. I remember there was one guy came down from Ontario, ran a camp, and we were all super excited about it. You know, just gives you a different look. And, you know, so yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
How are the registration numbers?
It's good right now. I think we're rated about 55.
What, dude?
Yeah,
Like that's unreal. Like I wonder what the number would have been 3 years ago.
yeah,
You know, like the 55 kids. That's sick.
yeah. I think it definitely helps. You know that the Thunderbirds are here, so
100%.
everyone knows what the NLL is, and then us being NLL players. You know, currently it's like, okay, these guys would be playing against the Thunderbirds, so I think that helps.
What sort of things are you going to implement off the floor? Like I know when you have a hockey camp, you don't just play hockey. You go maybe do a little video, maybe you do some things outside. Like is there anything like that you're going to implement
Ours-
in the camp?
This one we're just doing 2 2-hour floor sessions.
Okay.
So it's just on floor.
Okay.
But you know, I was talking about it the other day. Like, you could go play hockey with Sidney Crosby for 4 hours, and you're not going to guarantee make the NHL, right?
Yeah.
But I think with our camp, the biggest takeaway for the kids will be, we'll teach them some new drills and stuff, but we're really just going to focus on like learning the game and explaining why we're doing this drill and explaining maybe why you do that V cut when you go to set a pick, things like that. So I can guarantee that kids are going to walk away from the camp learning something that they can take with them, and that's really what we want to hammer home, because we want to grow the knowledge of the game, right? That's what we need.
Yep.
And I think the other thing is, myself coming from Halifax and a small center, and then same with Naber. He grew up in Owen Sound, Ontario, which they have a good lacrosse community there, but it's a small town, 30,000 people.
Yeah.
It was a lot that we had to do on our own time to work on our game. And so I think if you can show kids things that they can learn, teach kids things that they can work on away from the rink that will help them improve as a player, that's where the value is, I think.
100%. I like how you said that you're going to teach kids why they're doing it. Like, I don't think I realized why I did a V cut until junior. Like, I didn't really even know. Like, there was just, okay, you just got to do this, and then you got to go down, pick the guy at the crease, so then the other guy can run up. And I'm just going through the motions going, I don't really know why I'm doing it, but I guess it is making me open every now and then. But to teach a kid at that age why he's doing it, that can definitely help for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're doing things with a purpose, right? Because, everyone says, oh, do a V cut, and you're just like, okay. But then in a game, you're not doing the V cut because no one's saying do a V cut, right?
Yeah.
But if you realize, okay, I'm pulling my defender away to create space so then I can go set a pick, and now we have a 2-on-1, then it's like, okay, I'm doing this with a purpose. I have a reason for doing a V cut. It's not just what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. On the defense, like, I'm not a defensive player at all. I wish I was a little bit better than I was. Give me, I guess, a little bit of give me some tips on being a good defensive player at the pro level.
Yeah, so our defense revolves around not giving up topside. So
Is this, you're talking Philly? Like,
yeah,
that's okay,
and just any good defense. This can translate all the way down to Pee Wee.
Okay.
You want to take away the middle of the floor. That's the main thing, because if your goalie's seeing shots from down the alley all day, it's an easy save. They can square up to that, and it's once they get to the middle, the goalie has to step across. He's got both sides. Maybe he stepped too far, right? It just gives you a lot of more options.
Yeah.
So basically, the main thing as a D guy is you can't let him get topside. So you want to step out above your defender or your offensive guy so that you're turning them down the wall.
Okay.
So that's really the main thing. And obviously, you want to make sure that, defense, it's all about talk. Lacrosse, you want to be real physical. Don't let anyone in the middle. But yeah, just denying that top side, I'd say, is like the one key everyone should be thinking about when they're playing defense.
I always thought as an offensive player, one of the most annoying things a defensive player could do to me was just to always have a stick on me. Not like necessarily cross-check me, but just like kind of touch me as I'm moving. It's like if I'm running and I'm burning energy, it's because I'm trying to get away from the defender to get a pass to get a clear shot. But I always found whenever there was a defender that was just always having a stick on me, always just letting me know he's there, in the back of your mind, it makes you go, okay, I got to work a little bit harder to get away from this guy.
For sure.
It doesn't really matter where I am on the floor. It was just always that sight of, not sight, it was always that mindset of, no, that guy's right there. If I do get a shot off, I got to be quick because he's going to get a stick on me. Like being a hard, like I know it comes down to an easy saying, but being a hard-working defenseman can create a great defenseman. I know a guy, Robert Paquette. He's an athletic guy. He plays in the senior league, I'm pretty sure. He plays on the orangutans. And growing up, he wasn't like the most like core, what's the word I'm looking for? Core, he's like it's like not balanced. Coordinated. Not the most like coordinated guy, but he would be relentless on the defender that he was on. Relentless.
Yeah.
And that made him one of the best defensemen in the league growing up in junior. And to this day, I'm pretty sure he is playing in the senior league. And I was talking to Drew, Drew McDonald. Yeah. And he was saying, nonetheless, he's still like that. He's always on a guy.
Yeah, definitely being able to match feet with your guy. That's basically what you're saying.
You just broke it down.
Yeah. That's a big thing, and I know personally, like a big part of my game is footwork's huge as a D guy, and if your feet are in the right position, you can get around picks and stuff. And I know a big part of my game is like, I'd say the biggest thing about being a defender in the NL is just, you're making so many quick decisions. You need to read where you are on the floor, where your defender is, where the ball is. And positioning helps you with all that. Because if I'm in a position where I can see my guy, I can see the ball, then I'm not blinded to a pick or anything like that, right? So, yeah, it's all about that footwork. And, honestly, one of the things my coaches were saying to me last season going off was that I needed to be more physical. I needed to be cross-checking my guy more because I'm sort of one of those guys who, like you said, I'll have a stick on you, but I'm trying to be aware of everything that's going on. So sometimes I find if I'm turning and I'm just hammering on my guy, there could be a guy back cutting that I could go to help, and now I'm not paying attention because I'm worried about hammering on my guy. So that's something I actually need to like constantly be saying in my head. Be physical, cross check. Those are things that I need to remind myself because you can play great defense without just pounding on your guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
One of the other things I loved as a defensive player on my team as an offensive guy was the transition game. Having a defenseman that knows how to take the ball after a shot or a loose ball, how to protect it, how not to make a really quick pass. You can make a quick pass, sure, if a guy's up the floor, but a guy that knows how to hold onto the ball and make a transition pass and then change. I think it's one of the most underrated things in lacrosse. You have to be able as a defender to take the ball away from the change and give it to the offensive man. And I know in junior growing up, it was tough for a lot of guys. Like I said, there was guys that played defense junior here that didn't have the best skill set when it came to their stick. And they were great defenders, but they struggled if there was a little bit of pressure on them to pass to the offensive guy. But that's Nova Scotia. That's growing up here. It just happens. But at the NLL level, obviously, it's a little bit natural. It comes to guys. But at that camp you're talking about, I think that's something you could definitely implement because that was something that definitely wasn't a 100% known thing growing up here. Was the transition game.
Yeah, definitely. Even with my my U14 team, just really breaking down like the first game we played, we got beat 8-0 and we didn't have we couldn't break the ball out at all. And it's as a coach, that's where some things you're not going to learn until you see them play, right? And then we've been really working on our breakout and just breaking it down where guys need to be. And we've made a ton of strides in that. So yeah, there's so many things that you can sort of pass on that, and that's why I think it's been good that I've spent the season coaching that U14 age group, because it's sort of given me a look into the level and what really is going to translate to these kids.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm pretty prepared for the level that'll be at the camp and how we can maximize our time.
Yeah, well said. It's a lot about communication at that level, I find. If you can get through to a kid, you should be able to talk to them and tell them what you're thinking.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's all really.
And a lot of these guys, not all of them, but a lot of them, they play Pee Wee AAA hockey, and you can tell that they've been coached before. So they really do soak it in. And, you see, I have a group of 5 or so of my U14 boys that I'm training individually, not individually, but small group.
Yeah. And,
I'll show them a move to work on, and then, one of the guys does it and scores. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's what I learned Tuesday," and it's cool to see it translate directly to the game.
I want to get out this year and go watch a minor lacrosse game because I'm not that old, but I still remember my skill level of how good I was at that age. I'm gonna definitely come up to Spryfield, the rink, one of these days and just watch a Bantam game or even a junior game and just see where the skill level's at. So I haven't watched a game other than the Thunderbirds in 2 years.
Except they won't let you in.
Yeah, are they not letting fans in? Oh wait, who
one
won't let me
fan
in?
per kid.
No. See, that's where I pull the media card. I go, yeah, I'm with High Button Sports, and then I pull the phone out, and then maybe I'll be let in.
We should get you out to the camp.
Yeah, let me know. I'll come and mic you up
around.
or do something.
Yeah.
If it's at Spryfield, I'll literally just
Spry.
wake up out of bed, just walk over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
What are the dates?
August 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th.
I'm not sure. We'll talk after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to come for sure. So they won't it's really one parent per kid.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Is it like that at senior too? I guess no parents really go.
One spectator per player.
One spectator per. Okay, so there's tons of guys that go that don't have a girlfriend or a parent that go.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe we'll come and watch.
Yeah, my dad's been coming to watch.
He brings you a sign.
Yeah, I think it's good. He's missed out watching me play the last few years. So.
Oh yeah.
No, that senior league's good, man. There's a lot of guys out, and it's just good to see all the guys out there, and there's guys who I would have heard about when I was younger, and they're still playing, so now I'm playing with them and against them. So
yeah,
it's just good to see there's any Tuesday or Thursday, there's 60, 70 guys playing lacrosse in Nova Scotia. It's good to see.
Is Draper out there? Or is he junior still?
Draper is technically still junior because they gave that one extra year. So he's playing junior for Dartmouth, but he was on our team. So he played a couple games with us, like when he wasn't playing junior.
Okay.
But he got hurt a couple weeks ago.
What happened?
Just jammed his shoulder up. I don't think it's separated or anything, but he's hoping to be back next week. So
okay.
If we're still playing, then he'll be out.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just great how there's a goal now. I remember playing junior and senior. There just wasn't really a goal. But if you can have a goal of playing in the NLL now, knowing that there's scouts around here, knowing that there's an organization, or just even being a young kid, like you're talking about the U14, having an actual goal. I know every time you've come on the podcast, we've nailed this on the head and talked about it, but it's true. Like playing for the Toronto Rock back in the day wasn't really a goal. It was just like, whatever, like I'm just going to play this till I get old, and there's no goal. There's no, It's hard to get somewhere in life if you don't have a goal. And I feel with all these kids that you're training, there's a goal.
I agree 100%. Like, even for me growing up, like, it wasn't like, oh, I need to play in the NLL, I got to play. It was just like, I love lacrosse. I'm a competitive guy. I want to be the best at what I do. And then, that the NLL kind of, obviously I got the opportunity in Ontario, and then it's like, okay, you're actually closer than you think. But same like you said, growing up, there was no real influence from the NLL. You didn't see it. You didn't even really hear about it. I don't think I could have named 3 teams in the NLL when I was, in midget. Whereas these guys now, they all got season tickets. They're seeing all the guys. They know the players. Like, that part's awesome.
I remember I told this story once on the podcast. I'll tell it again. I was working a Thunderbirds game. I think it was the Saskatchewan game. Not like you would know what that means, but there was a game.
No,
here.
I remember that game, the one where they almost came back.
Yeah. How do you know that game?
Well, I got a buddy on Saskatchewan, and my parents were at it, so no, I know that game.
Dude, that game is, I guess,
one of the best games ever. People were saying
ever.
Yeah,
like I've been in the Metro Center for years, like watching hockey and Memorial Cup even. Like, but that game was just. Anyway, so I'm at that game, and after the Thunderbirds, there's like autograph signings, and the players come out on the floor, and the kids and the fans get autographs. So. I don't know, let's say the game starts at 7. It's probably over at like 10:30. No, it's probably 11 because that game went to overtime. Maybe it was double overtime. Nonetheless, let's say it's like 10, 11 o'clock. So players are out there on the floor at 11 o'clock. I'm staying up in the press box because my girlfriend had the car, so she had to come pick me up. So I was there just waiting for her. So I was there late. And I'm just sitting up there. I'm watching, I think I was watching like hockey on my laptop or something like that. And I'm looking at the floor because I'm up in the press box. It's probably like 11:30, pushing 12 o'clock. The players are still out there. The fans, they haven't died down, but they've all gotten their autographs and they're not leaving. They're just kind of hanging out because they know that there's professional lacrosse players on the same floor as them. And when I'm sitting up in the press box at, close to 12 o'clock on a Saturday night in downtown Halifax, and I'm watching all these kids, all their parents, and the players sacrificing, because, these players probably just want to go to, they want to go to the bar. Let's be real here. It's, they're in Saturday, Halifax. They want to go to the bar. Yeah. And they're there just sitting there signing autographs for all of these people. It was a really cool thing to see. And I remember back to when I first started lacrosse with Mr. Fink and how, we had that first gym class and he introduced the game of lacrosse to there was like 20 kids in my class. And I think about that moment to where it slowly graduated year by year by year by year. And to think of the year, I think this happened in 2019. I guess this would have happened 2 years ago now. And to see that happen at midnight at the Scotiabank Center, have hundreds of kids on the floor, have all the players on the floor. It was just kind of a cool moment to see from, 15 years ago all the way up until that point and watch it happen. It just gave me, I don't want to say hope, but it gave me, it just gave me a sense of, okay, lacrosse is here and it's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. And to see you having this camp and you said 55 kids registered.
Yeah.
I just don't think that would have happened 3-4 years ago. And I don't know. It's just really cool to see. Really cool to see the lacrosse community here grow.
Yeah. You're seeing awesome. You're seeing it come full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way, and that's why it was so cool. My first year in the NLL happened to be Halifax's first season. It was like, who would have imagined that not only I would make it to that point, but then Halifax have a team. So yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I can't wait for it to come back.
Has the schedule? Are you playing in Halifax this year?
The schedule is not out yet.
Oh man, how bad you just want that schedule.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
But you like, there's a possibility you play here, right?
yeah. I mean, they changed up the divisions this year because there's expansion and stuff. So we're in like the East, which Halifax is in.
Okay,
I
so
don't
you're
know
good
if
to go.
Yeah, that may help us. I know how it was. The last going off was you paid. There was 3 divisions and you played everyone in your division twice and then everyone else in the league once. So it was like we would either go to Halifax or they would come to us.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
But now maybe we play them twice. Yeah, we just got to see the schedule.
It would be sick to get up to Vegas too.
Yeah, Vegas is coming in next year.
Oh, they're not here this year.
This
Okay.
year it's Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
So that's the expansion team. So we just had the expansion draft maybe a month ago.
Are you pumped you didn't get picked?
I got protected.
Oh, how many people did they protect?
So only 10.
Oh, that's nice to get protected.
Yeah, so 5D. I think it's 5D, 5-0, and a goalie.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good, man. You know, they trust me and they're confident in me, and you know, to be a young guy and get protected, that's awesome. And you know, I would have been pretty upset leaving Philly because it's such a great group we have there and great coaching staff. So yeah, that was a big deal. And then yeah, so that was cool.
That's sick.
Yeah.
It must be a nice feeling knowing the team that drafted you now protected you. It's like, okay, these years, or I guess 1 year you put in there, it's like they still remember the work I put in. Because if you think about it, you haven't played like pro lacrosse in 2 years. It's been.
It'll be like 20 months by the time we play.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like that work that I put in Philly for that time I was there. It's like they remember that and they still see something in you to protect you. That must be a good feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, it gives you confidence in yourself to know that they're confident in you, right?
Yeah.
And they look to me as a guy that they can rely on, and they want me to be there for the future. So
it's a good feeling.
Yeah,
for sure. What's the lacrosse community like in Philly?
In Philly, it's good. I know the fan base is really good. You know, we get a good turnout, and they're pretty rowdy.
Yeah,
you know, the Philly fans, they're awesome. So I know field lacrosse wise, they're pretty good. There's a good group of pro guys who came out of Philly. I know box lacrosse, obviously. All over the states, it's growing. Yeah. So I'm not sure what it's like in Philly, but yeah, I think field lacrosse, it's pretty popular there.
So what's the plan from like now until, you said October?
Yeah.
So what's your plan now until October? And sorry, 2-part to that question. You said you're going to be in school, but you said you're doing school from home. So are you going to be flying like from Halifax to Philly?
No, I'm going to go back up the end of August to Brock.
To Brock. So
it'll be my last year.
Okay, sounds good.
We're supposed to have a Brock season. We're supposed to have a lacrosse season there.
When's that starting?
That would be like as soon as we get back, like September.
Okay, so
that would be good, you know, get the legs going and stuff. I mean, the senior league here's been good to get sort of some of the rust off and stuff, but you know, even over the last year and a half I've been playing, you know, I find a way to keep the stick in your hand. You have to, right?
Yeah.
And you know, we've had our that group we had at Highland Park last summer. You know, we were playing a couple nights a week, and then I was in St. Catharines for 6 months, and we were playing a couple times a week. So I've been playing, but you know, those game reps are obviously different. So it'll be good to get some field lacrosse in, and then roll that into the NLL. So yeah, I'll go back September. So we'll do our camp here. We got another camp in Owen Sound the end of August.
For Northern Torch?
For Northern Torch, yeah. So we did one there originally, and because that's where Jake's from. And so now we reached out to their minor lacrosse. So their minor lacrosse is running it, and they're just bringing us in to do it. So that's sort of a good way to do it. So they're doing all the registration, promote it, and we're basically just we'll be actually running the camp.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that August 28th and 29th, and then school will probably start like September 5th or something.
Yeah.
And then back to the school grind, and although it hasn't really stopped for me since the Masters, it kind of just keeps going. Play field lacrosse, and then end of October we'll be back on the plane to Philly, hopefully.
Dude, it must be such a good feeling to know like your schedule is going to be packed again. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, yeah, your schedule's kind of packed, I guess, with the Masters, but like that travel aspect wasn't there. The
No.
like actual physically playing lacrosse wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's like it must be nice knowing like your schedule is just going to be jammed packed and you'll be able to get back to normal somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, it should be back to real life again, you know. So I've
Yeah.
definitely been missing it, man. It's been hard, you
Yeah.
know. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't hard, you know. Especially for me, it's like, you know, everything that I've sacrificed to get to that NL level, and then it's sort of just taken away from you, completely out of your control, right? It's been frustrating, and some days you're kind of thinking, you know, are we gonna play again, you know? But I think the light's sort of at the end of the tunnel here, so I'm just hoping we can get back on the floor, and
Yeah.
you know, as soon as I step back on that floor, it'll be. I think that's when I'll fully accept that it's back. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I hope it's soon.
Dude, especially with fans. Like
I
the
know.
States, you can have fans. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure maybe in Canada you can have fans too, but to be able to back out on that floor and have fans and perform in front of people,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother element we haven't even talked about. That'll be a great feeling for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching. I know they had the Ontario Junior League played like a tournament style the last couple weekends, and then Senior A just started up there. Unfortunately, I was already playing here, so
Yeah.
can't really just pack it up and leave. They canceled the season originally, and then they said basically a week notice. Okay, we're actually gonna make this work. But I mean, it's good for those guys who are around and can play, right? So, but I was watching it, and you know, everyone's just flying around like it's like playoff atmosphere because you know no one's played. Everyone's just juiced up to be back. Guys are whacking, and so it's good to see. I know when it comes back, it's gonna be pretty intense because you know everyone's been missing it. So everyone's just juiced up to be back.
I'm
right?
pumped to go to the Thunderbirds games. I hope, when did you say December 3rd the season starts?
Yeah,
Like, I hope December 3rd there's, like, we can have fans here. Like, I hope.
I know, man. It needs fans, right?
It's just so much, like yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
You saw it with the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, oh,
What
yeah.
a difference that made.
What a difference. Like, if you looked at the games in Tampa compared to Montreal, just the energy of the players.
And both teams, like, it wasn't like a distinct advantage for the home team, you know? It was just like the whole game itself was just like
Yeah.
a shot of adrenaline, right?
The viewing pleasure was more intense in Tampa. Not that
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't in Montreal, like whatever. Well, there's like 2,500 fans there. It was all right, but like just seeing everyone in Tampa, I don't know. Yeah.
Once you take the fans away and then you bring them back, you realize what an impact they have. Like when they first were gone, it's like, oh, you know what impact do the fans really have?
Mm.
And then now you see them come back, it's like, wow, yeah,
That's
they
what
have an impact.
That's what Andrew Bondarchuk said. You know Andrew Bondarchuk? He's like
Yeah.
a good hockey player. He plays
Yeah.
over in Germany now. And he was like, growing up, like, you know, I played for the Mooseheads and always fans. And he's like, you know, I didn't really notice them. Like, yeah, it's cool to have fans. It's cool to be noticed. It's cool to have fans and watch. And then he's like, dude, but when the fans went away, he's like, I really miss the fans. He's like, I will never take for granted having fans. Because when you play in front of a packed building every night, it's nothing new. It's nothing like spectacular.
Yeah.
But he's like, dude, like playing in front of the fans for 2 years with no one. He's like, I will never ever take for granted not having fans. He's like, it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like if you do it every day, it's not really, I guess, special. But if you have them gone, you miss them, man, and it makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah.
The fan interaction's awesome.
I know, like, when guys say you don't notice them, like, I can definitely attest to that a bit. Like, because when you're on the floor and, like, the game's going on, you're just so focused on the game. Like, you do notice them, but it's like, you know, you're talking as a defender, you're talking with your other guys, you're listening for guys to say certain things. So you're not really tuned in, but, like, when you're on the bench or after a goal or a big hit, you know, you hear them for sure. So, yeah, it definitely it'll be pretty crazy to be back on the floor with a bunch of fans.
That would be sick. How much time are we at, Mark?
47 minutes.
We're 47 minutes right now.
That went quick.
Holy smokes! No, like that'll be that'll be sick. I can't wait for this. Like I even hear it in your voice. You're still not sure. Like you
Well,
know what I
it's
mean?
just,
Like
you know, if the last year and a half's taught you anything, it's like,
yeah,
you know, I try to be an optimistic guy, but at the same time, you get your hopes up, and then it's like, oh no,
yeah.
you know, there's been a spike or whatever. So, and you know, looking at this how the States is going right now, they are sort of trending towards, you know, more cases and stuff. So,
There's another variant.
yeah, the Delta variant or whatever. So, you know, I just hope everyone gets their vaccine, I guess.
No one has an answer.
No one has an answer.
Every time, like
Yeah.
every guest that comes on the podcast, there's always like a quick 5-minute COVID break. Like, what's going on? What do you think? And everyone's just, you
Yeah.
know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, get the vaccine. Hopefully, everything's all right.
Yeah, at some point you got to just move on, right? At some point.
Dude, I got nothing to say. I don't know. Like, what do you? I've said everything I need to say.
Right.
I have no idea what to say anymore about it. It's
Yeah.
out of my hands.
Yeah.
Vaccine, no vaccine, mask, whatever you want me to do, I'm down.
Yeah.
Just let me go back to normal.
Exactly.
Someone came on here the other day. I forget who it was. Someone was in the studio. I'm like, yeah, Friday, you don't need a mask anymore. Like in Sobeys. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I went to Sobeys the other day. Like I didn't have a mask. Like I don't even like look at the news anymore because it's the same thing. So I
Yeah.
just go by what people tell me.
Yeah.
And I go up to Sobeys and I'm like, oh, okay. And then no, everyone has the mask on. But I was just expecting to walk in without a mask. I was like, oh, sick. No. You got to wear a mask. Still.
Yeah. Well, New Brunswick and PEI you can, so.
Maybe that's what he was saying. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe, yeah, I hope we don't have to wear a mask soon.
Yeah, I'd like to get rid of them.
You got the beard too, so when you got the beard mixed with the mask, it's not good. At least for me.
Well, it's just some of the things are frustrating, right? Like, you're coaching with your group. I'm allowed on the floor, no mask. I'm around the kids, everything. You're in the dressing room with them. None of them have masks. But then as soon as I jump on the bench to coach, I got to wear a mask, right? And it's like, you're in this hot rink. You're trying to yell. It makes it hard, right?
It's theater. You're just doing it.
It's optics, right?
Yeah.
And, so I'm always, trying to, yelling through a mask. And it's just brutal. It's brutal.
Terrible.
Yeah.
No, I hope it comes to an end soon. Honestly, not like it's like I'm at like a selfish point almost. It's like I want it to be over, not even for the health aspect, but just for like work. It's like I cared really a lot. I cared a lot about like health and people living and everything, of course. But there's a point where it's like if us young guys who want to carry on a career and make sure that career comes to fruition, it's like. And unfortunately, you kind of just have to risk some things, and I guess health just comes into play. It's like I don't want to say that, but it's like I feel like the older generation is just like, oh, let's do the right thing. We'll sit, we'll wait, we'll sit, we'll wait, we'll sit, we'll wait, we'll do this.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm down for that. Like I'm down to do it, but let's do it at a rate that allows us to get ahead. Like our generation is suffering the most. We can't get ahead.
No, it's very hard, and now the economic toll. It's unbelievable, and we're sort of dealing with it at like a zero risk approach.
Yeah.
And that's not possible with a virus. It's just not, If it was a zero risk approach, with everything, we would be at home all day. We wouldn't leave our homes. So, I understand it, but yeah, it's tough.
Someone was explaining to me the other day about how it's an actual living organism and how it's like smart. Like COVID is smart.
Yeah.
It'll wait till like a function comes around to be able to attack someone, to attack the group that's in the function. Like it's an actual living organism. And when I thought about it from that perspective, the way I think of a COVID, I just think of dust in the air, and it's just luckily traveling from someone's lungs to someone else's lungs. But the way this guy was explaining it to me the other day, he's like, no, it's smart. It sits, it waits, it knows when you're in a room full of people, and then it will attack other people. It was like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and like you got to think these viruses have been around literally billions of years. Like
dinosaurs
before there was any living things on Earth, there was viruses. Like they've been around because they're the simplest organism, right? So, and obviously you get these variants and stuff because, that's how they have been around for billions of years. The ones that you kill off, you don't pass on. The ones that survive, they get stronger because that's how evolution works, right? So you're gonna have the variants and stuff. I don't think that, one variant to the next would be a massive jump. Like it's not like you're gonna go from like variant 1 to like 20% mortality rate. Like it's not gonna be like crazy jumps, but yeah, you're gonna get different versions.
It's crazy to think about it from that perspective. It's just a living organism.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like having smart guys like you on to explain it to me. That's good stuff. So yeah, any plans for the rest of the summer? Do you want to promote anything right now for the camp? Do you want to maybe give a website for people to? Are you guys full?
Yeah.
Like, are you still accepting?
Yeah, we still have lots of spots. So we're looking for more kids at all age groups. We're doing boys and girls. So We have the first 2 days are boys, the second 2 days are girls. So we're looking to give equal opportunity, and there's a lot of girls lacrosse players in Nova Scotia, so we want to help them just as much. And the age groups we're doing, we got U10 co-ed, and then we have U12 boys, U14 boys, and U17, and then we have the U10, and then we have U12/14 girls, and then U17 girls. So yeah, we have lots of spots available, and it's going to be a great couple days. Like I said earlier, I guarantee you're gonna learn something and take something home with you that'll help you improve as a lacrosse player, and that's our goal. So if you want to sign up, it's www.northerntorchlacrosse.com. It'd be great to have as many kids out as we can.
Awesome. Well, Alex, you're the man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the week. Have fun. Work hard. I hope you get to come here as a Philadelphia wing.
I know.
You know what I mean? I hope we get to go down to the States and see you play in Philly. That'd be great.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. Thanks for having me again. I'm turning into a regular, so I'll probably be back whenever I'm back next. We'll do another 6-month update or whatever.
We'll do it in Philly. How about that?
That'd be awesome, man.
All right, everyone listening, thank you very much for tuning in once again. Enjoy the week. Have fun. Work hard. Play lacrosse. Stay active. We're out. Peace.